What up, though? And Habari Ghani. Welcome to today's episode of AM Opinionated. I'm your man. And I think I'm just going to do this real quick. Hold up. What's up, Brody?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Hey, hold up. Before you start, I just want to let you know we live on Facebook.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know that I just realized that black men, or specifically black men, but poor white men too, are indentured servants in America right now.
All right.
Because if you pay child support, did you know in 1985 Congress passed a little thing where they made it mandatory for the states to request child support from people? That came in 1985. They put that legislation out there. So as I was just, going through my little episode right here, and I read that birth certificate, and I was already inquisitive, like, damn, this motherfucker sound like I gotta go talk to a lawyer to put my name on my child's birth certificate. It was already a contract, but I was so high strung on my emotions that I it didn't really solidify in my mind that this is a contract that you're signing into with the government, and if you don't fulfill your services, they're gonna take you to jail.
Everything you sign is a contract.
Yeah, but that's indentured servitude because I have to work for the government for 18 years. Because I had to be on child support for 18 years. Originally, in indentured service, they got out from slavery and they got back into slavery because they had to work that 7 years to pay off their little land or whatever that the people gave them.
Right.
So they was really still in slavery because they were getting shafted and bamboozled and hoodwinked and all of that stuff.
Right.
And that's going on right now. If I don't pay my child support, I'm going to jail.
Facts. Absolutely.
They take all of my money. They take money from a regular job. They take money from income tax. If you got bank accounts, they can freeze your bank accounts, take your money. They can freeze your assets, take your assets, all over child support. This is indentured servitude, bro.
Hold up, homie. Hold up. Hey, I just want to let y'all know we did not script this. He just happened to call right when I was starting the show, and it just happened to be part of what we talking about. Let me know if y'all can hear him. No, this was not scripted. This was not part of the show. Go ahead,
Man, this is indentured servitude. I gotta work for these people, or I go to jail. That is crazy.
Hey, now, a lot of times when you work for a company for 18, 20, 25 years, you get some sort of pension. Do they give you a pension program like when you able to retire?
Well, it depends on what company you work for. When I was working for UPS, if I'd have worked there long enough, I'd have been able to get a pension.
I'm talking about raising your baby after 18 years of working for the government.
Hell no, it ain't no goddamn pension shit. Hell no.
You don't get
it. Hey, and even they so crazy. It's so crazy that the woman could put you on child support before the child is born. That blew my mind right there.
Yep.
You don't even know the child is gonna be born.
Here's the cold part about it. Here's the cold. Yeah, real talk. Here's the cold part about it. I learned some years ago, right? From a cat that this happened to. If you are not the father on some Maury Povich type stuff, right? If you are not the father and you put your name on that birth certificate, you liable.
Yeah, you liable.
Yeah, you liable.
You signed yourself into indentured servitude.
Yes, sir. 18. Yeah. And then come to find out, what they say, like, yeah, he said 18 years, after 18 years, he found out it wasn't his. You've been paying child support for 18 years.
And it ain't no type of reparations for that. Ain't no type of here, let us repay this man that we didn't rape his pockets for 18 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to be in servitude, bro.
That's a long time to be in servitude. 18 years is a long time to do anything, let alone be in servitude.
At any time they can say, hey, we're going to pick you up because you missed 1 month of child support. We're going to pick you up for that $500.
Right.
And put you in jail until we feel like we won't let you out, or you feel like you learned your lesson.
Right.
But that defeats the purpose. How am I going to pay child support in jail? I don't even make an income in jail. This shit is bullshit. This is that trickery. Hey man, I just really figured out, bro, that the white people are cunning as a motherfucker, man. That is too cunning.
You just now figuring this out?
Or you gotta be on top of your. Hey, listen to this. Listen to this though. I called the lawyer to help me with the child support case.
Yeah.
The lawyer told me, this is what his words were. I said, well, I talked to the child support people and they said that I shouldn't be paying child support if I was living in a house with you. And the lawyer said, well, it's kind of too late for that. It's like, well, shit, I didn't know at that time. What can we do about it? He told me, this is his words, a lawyer said that ignorance is what?
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
No excuse. That's what it's called. He said it is our, what is the word he said? He said it is our affirmative duty to know law. That's what the lawyer said. Because
he is regurgitating what the law actually says. It is anyone that spends money in this nation and considers themselves a citizen. It is your affirmative duty to know the law.
Know the law.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Kamara taught me that a decade and a half ago.
Hey, listen, the law been on the book before me and you was born. How the fuck we know about the law?
Yeah, well, here's the cold thing about it, and this kind of ties into what my episode today is about. You know what I'm saying? It's not only about self-determination. It's not just about Kujichagulia, right? Because part of determining for yourself is to go out there and find knowledge for yourself so that nobody else can quote it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because they may have a different understanding than you do. Now, you and I both know about the flesh index. You know what I'm saying? So on the flesh index, people read at and comprehend at different levels. The law is written on a level to where most people can't comprehend it. We don't speak Latin. So it's not being the law is not being comprehended. When you look at legal books, when you look at tax code, when you look at all this stuff and you say, damn, this looks foreign to me. That's because it is. Because it is foreign to you. It's written in a whole other language, and that's why a lot of people get caught up. But the cold thing is they don't teach law in school, but they teach trigonometry.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you said that, bro. I was dating this girl from Denver. She go to law school. She go to criminal. Her major is criminal justice. That's her major.
Mm-hmm.
I caught the case.
Hey man, hold up. Pause right there. Since you just gonna bulldog my show, you know what I'm saying? Since you just gonna bulldog your way on to being a guest on my show. So all y'all that's talking about, man, when can I get on the show? When can I get on the show? I guess all you gotta do is call, you know what I'm saying? When you know I'm about to go on, and you can bulldog your way onto my show just like my homeboy did. So you gotta introduce yourself, man.
I didn't know you was going on. You said you was gonna call me yesterday. I'm like, let me call this dude, man.
Hey man, yesterday got away from me, man. Yesterday got away from me, man. You gotta introduce yourself, man. Normally I introduce my guests, but I don't introduce guests that bulldog their way onto my show. You gotta do this is self-determination. This is Kujichagulia. You gotta introduce your damn self. I ain't introducing you, you bully.
Hey, my name is Mr. Scott, man. That's my name. I'm Mr. Scott.
He's Mr. Scott.
Brother.
Dred Scott, aka Doughboy Butcher. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, that's Tweet being him. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
Hey, listen though, man. The girl go to Denver University, studying criminal justice.
Right.
I catch the traffic case for driving with the instant bang in the window, which was a damn, I can't even think of what the word I'm trying to think. But I tell her, hey, I'm gonna come to your school and we're gonna go to your law library. She told me, we got a law library. She just graduated, bro, with a bachelor's degree. She just graduated last November. And she went to school for 4 years and didn't know it was a law library on her campus. What the hell is they teaching? What are you learning?
Hey man, you must have heard her wrong.
No. She said I just study the cases. I just study the cases that they give me. I said, so in those cases, you don't see the cases that take precedent or the cases that, might be contrary to this case and go in the library and study. She said, oh, I was just so flabbergasted, like, wow.
I think
criminal justice major and don't know that you got a law library.
I think the reason I'm not justifying the fact that this is don't have an idea that she is at a law school and that a law school would have a legal library on the campus, right? What I'm saying is she a younger chick?
Yeah, she about 23, 24.
So I think part of that, that sounds like something that a younger chick would do, and a younger chick would say somebody that's 22, 23 and will only kind of investigate. And this is not all 22, 23-year-olds, but some will only go as far as others will instruct them to go. You know what I'm saying? And they don't determine for themselves that, hey, there's something that I can't look up as readily on this computer, and I might need to go and look at some backdated stuff. Where could I go to obtain this information? How about the law library?
I asked her, did she know how to shepherdize? She said, what is that? Well, law students don't know what shepherdize is.
Okay, so
what is they teaching you over here?
Because that's because most paralegals would be better lawyers than the lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Because all the lawyers is doing, they the pretty face that's out in the front that can talk.
They just spitting out what the paralegal wrote.
That's it. They spitting off what the paralegal writes down. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, the paralegal knows more about the law than the lawyer because we do all the work for the lawyer. So the fact that, I'm not saying that they shouldn't. A lawyer should know what shepherdizing is.
I'm just saying that if you go into school for law and you only doing the basics to get by, then to me you ain't learned nothing.
Exactly.
You ain't learned nothing. Shit. You ain't learned about a watershed case or
no.
Them type of things. You just going off of, like you said, whatever that they feed you, and then you able to regurgitate what they feed you, but they ain't even told you about the law.
Right.
You know what I mean? They ain't told you about the specifics of filing habeas corpuses and filing federal courts and all of that type of stuff. They just giving you the basics so that you can say, oh, I got a little law, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. It's all for the initials. It's all for the initials at the end of your name. You know what I'm saying? So that at the end of the day, you can put that ESQ, that Esquire at the end of your name or something like that. But for real, a lot of times a lawyer is probably the last person you want to ask about the law, because I ain't gonna say that. A lawyer may know about the law, but if you give me a choice on who to ask about the law, a lawyer or a cat that just came out the joint from doing 25 years, I'm asking this dude that just got out the joint. I'm asking this cat that just got out the joint. Why would I ask the dude that just got out the joint instead of the lawyer that's been practicing law for 25 years? Because that lawyer is not practicing law for his life.
Sure ain't.
His life ain't on the line. This cat that just did 25 years and got himself off on an appeal, he been fighting for his life legally the last 25 years. He's looking at stuff legally nobody else is looking at. You know what I mean? It's dudes that I bet you Kamara could get out today and go to a legal office and tell them stuff, and them lawyers will be like, really? That exists? Yes.
The coldest lawyer, the coldest legal mind that I encountered was Kelly Hill, crazy ass.
Kelly Hill knew what he was talking about.
Whoa, when that man said something about that law, man, you best believe he knew what the hell he was talking about.
Yeah.
Boy. He did some things with that law that made me like, I need to hurry up and get on his level.
Right.
Because he made shit, with the pen, with the stroke of the pen, bam, bam, boom, boom. I got your count froze over here. Like, what?
Right. Hey, now I ain't gonna front. Now, Kamara tricked me into really delving into the law, about 10 some odd years ago, right? But I was intimidated by the law, you know what I'm saying? Because I fell into the same trap that a whole lot of other people did. I'm reading this shit and I'm like, hold on, I got a high damn IQ. Why I can't understand this? I can't understand.
Because you don't know why.
Because I don't speak Latin, you know what I'm saying? But it intimidated me, and then I decided, and again, we talking about self-determination today. Then I decided I'm going to learn the law because it is important for me to know my rights.
Know your rights. Yo.
I have to know my rights, and I have to know how to enforce them. I gotta know how to enforce them with a pen.
That's important.
That's important.
Not only and that's what the Black Panthers was about. They knew the law and they knew how to enforce the shit. And because the police couldn't make them get off of that, they was like, shit, we just gonna kill y'all. We can't do nothing else. Y'all too smart, y'all too powerful, so we just gonna kill y'all. Y'all doing what y'all supposed to do, studying law.
Hey, man.
Every time Huey P would have a rally, he'd be talking about, well, this is what the law say. This is our rights under the law. This is what this section say. This is what that section say. And until we able to do that, they're going to continue to do whatever the fuck that they want to do because law rules the land.
Hey, man, two things. You got, since this is about Kujichagulia, it's about self-determination, I'm going to give you two choices that you can determine on your own, right? You can either go to my live right now and watch the damn show and stop bulldogging my whole show, or you can sit here on the show and contribute audibly. Your choice.
All right, man, I'm gonna just sit here and contribute audibly, man, because I don't try to go to the live and all of that.
All right. So if you go contribute audibly, you gotta allow. Can I go back to being the host of my show?
Sure.
Is that cool?
I feel offended that you said I'm hijacking your show.
No, it's not a feeling. It's a fact. You hijacked my show. You did. You hijacked my show. I ain't tripping though. You know what I'm saying? I love you. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not tripping because, other than the retarded shit you be thinking, we think mostly alike. You know what I'm saying? So, I ain't tripping, but I am determining for myself that I ain't gonna let you just keep hijacking my damn show. You dig? All right. Now that my homeboy has decided for himself that he is not gonna hijack the rest of my show, I can get back to it, right? All right, but for real, he just hit on a point that I may not have decided I was going to talk about today, but I guess I will, So when you're talking about Kwanzaa, because that's what we're talking about, when you're talking about Kwanzaa and today being the second day of Kwanzaa, we're talking about Kujichagulia, self-determination, to define yourself, name yourself, create for yourself, and speak for yourself instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by anybody else. Why is that of critical importance? Why is being able to be autonomous, and do and think and be yourself? Why is that so important? Because that's true freedom. You dig? That's true freedom. The only person you're destined to become is the person that you decide you're gonna be. You know, you can't be nobody else than who you decide you are gonna become. You know, so self-determination is a process that assists a person in designing and exercising the mode, the methodology, the structure of their own lives, and not allowing their lives to be determined by nobody else, not allowing their lives to be determined by the government, by family members, by friends hijacking their show. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you decide how your life is gonna go, right? Now, now let me go back to yesterday real quick, put a bow on yesterday's unity, umoja, you know, and talk about that without unity, viruses spread, you know, without a collective mindset, miseducation spreads, you know, without unity, ignorance spreads. So we going down Prospect, headed back yesterday during the motorcade. First off, shout out to the Black United Front of Kansas City. You know, the motorcade was beautiful yesterday. We rode out, started out on 18th and Vine, rode out Truce all the way to 75th Street, bent that, went over to Prospect, came all the way down Suspect, all the way back down to 18th, right? So shout out to Mbuff KC and everybody that participated yesterday, and everybody that didn't get to participate. Shout out to you too, because I know you was there in spirit. But that was a show of unity. You know, it was the first day of Kwanzaa. That was a show of unity. Now during, and some of y'all might have caught this during my live yesterday, during the ride back down, there was a miseducated, ignorant brother that got out in the middle of the street. Now, when I said it was nice outside yesterday, I meant nice for winter. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean it's nice outside like you can come back outside in no shirt and shorts. And that's what Buddy had on. He had on no shirt and some shorts and was outside, and he heard all of us honking, seen all the red, black, and green flags on everybody's car, and acted like he had an AK and was shooting at us, right? That dude right there is somebody that the ancestor Harry Tubman would have shot in his head. You know what I'm saying? She'd have took that 38 to his dome. You did? Real talk. She'd have took that 38 to his dome because you an infiltrator. You know? You somebody that would have been like, because if you ain't with us, you against us. Hey, boss, they about to try to escape, boss. Boss, they plotting a revolution, boss. Hey, go in there and see what they talking about. You an infiltrator, you know. Dudes like that, they infiltrators and they not with the cause, you know. So, like my homie said, if you not with us, you against us. And Harry would have blasted you with that 38. Anyway, so you riding or you're not. That's it. You know, so umoja stresses togetherness, right? And does not stress division. Well, division, you can be together and have independence in your mind. So now we going into Kujichagulia, right? So you can think for yourself. Just because you are with an organization, or just because you and various other organizations have the same goal in mind, don't mean that y'all gonna get there the same way. You know, ultimately, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, they both had the same goal, right? They both had the same goal. They just went about it two different ways.
Different ideologies.
They had different ideologies. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so here's what you can do. You can co-host. That's what you can do. I'm gonna put your ass to work. You're gonna be my audio co-host today. That's what you're gonna do. You did. All right, so they had different ideologies on the how to accomplish the goal. Dr. King, his stance was nonviolent. You know what I'm saying? His stance was love everybody. You know, now, why did he get killed? Why did Dr. King get killed? Because he's talking about love everybody. We just need everybody to love everybody. Well, in the words of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she said that the reason that he got killed because he wanted everybody to love everybody is because that goes against white supremacy. Because if everybody loves everybody, then that means that these white women is going to continue to start loving on these black men. And that's going to create black babies. That's why you don't want everybody to love everybody. And that's why he got killed. He didn't get killed because of civil rights. No, it was way deeper than that. It was way deeper than civil rights, you know, because civil rights, they know, like we was talking about earlier, is the law, right? It's legal. That's legal stuff. If Dr. King would have been fighting for the rights of black people, like every other nationality in this country, if he'd have been fighting for the rights of black people, that would have been another reason he got killed, on top of trying to get all people to love each other. You see what I'm saying? So if you really want to know the real reason why Dr. King got killed, is because that whole loving everybody crap, that goes against white supremacy and racism. We can't continue to have we can't continue to have our bloodline mixing with a bloodline that is dominant, you know, because if a white woman has sex with a black man, then the baby come out black. If a black woman has sex with a white man, the baby come out black. That's just how it works.
You know, it was actual law, since we talk about law, that you can't be married to a white woman. It was called, starts with an M. God damn it.
That was part of the Negro Act, wasn't it?
Yeah, that they couldn't, and it's still, some of these laws are still on the book today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some of these,
in Louisiana or North Carolina or something, they just repealed that law like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. See, some of these laws didn't have a sunset act attached to them, you know.
Right.
So they just continue, you know.
They just on the books, and don't make that affirmative thing to know. You don't make that affirmative action to know. You never know.
Right. So on that line, before we go back to specifically talking about Kujichagulia, so just because like Dr. King and Malcolm was like, hey man, by any means necessary, I'm gonna stand by this window with this AK, and if you want it, you can get it. You know, that's just what time it was. While Malcolm's approach was more peaceful. Right. And it's not even that Malcolm didn't want, I mean, don't get it twisted. It's not that Malcolm did not want a peaceful solution. He was just prepared for war. You know, that's the difference.
He just knew that it couldn't be no peaceful solution.
He just felt it couldn't be no peaceful solution. Now, going back to what you was talking about in regards to the Panthers. So we talking about Kwanzaa, and you can't talk about Kwanzaa without bringing up Dr. Maulana Karenga, right? And you can't bring up Dr. Maulana Karenga without bringing up US Inc. or the US organization, right? Now, US, US is not United States, is literally us, black people. That's all he was talking about when he was talking about the US organization. Now, the US organization had a within it, right? Actually, before the US organization, there was the Black Congress. Within the Black Congress was the Circle 7, the discussion group, the Circle 7 within the Black Congress, right? And what did the Circle 7 talk about? The Circle 7 talked about Black nationalism, period, which spawned the idea for the US organization, right? So, and Karenga even gave credit to Malcolm because Hakeem Jamal is or was Malcolm X's cousin, right? So Karenga would always give Malcolm X credit for influencing him to create the US organization out of one of his Afro-American programs, right? So in light of the US organization talking about black activism, then you got the Panthers, right? The Panthers was organizing or rather were already organized and had their spin on black activism, and the US organization and the Black Panthers clashed. Bitter rivals. A lot of people ain't really hip to this, you know. The US organization and the Black Panthers were bitter rivals. Now, why were they bitter rivals? They weren't bitter rivals from the beginning. They just had differing opinions. From the gate, the US organization and the Panthers, they just had differing opinions on how to promote, how to obtain freedom, how to promote black nationalism, right? Malcolm X, Dr. King. So the bitter intensity of the rival was intensified when the FBI got involved with it. When the FBI and COINTELPRO got involved in it, they intensified the beef between the US organization and the Panthers, and would begin to do all this little trickery, you know, that the FBI does, that COINTELPRO did in that ops organization. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the ops. They the ops for real, you know.
They the ops for real, yeah.
They the ops for real. So you talking about COINTELPRO that was sending letters to the US organization talking about, hey, this is Huey P and blase, and we gonna humiliate you and talk about this and that and so. And then you send letters to Huey P talking about, yeah, this is Karinga, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna humiliate y'all publicly, and blase. And then what the FBI did was they would send information. They would send information to the US organization, right? So they turned the US organization against the Panthers and would send them information as to where they're going to be located, what time they're going to be located there, and would even provide weapons, right?
Yeah.
And
just like with the Crips and Bloods in LA right now.
So
in the 90s when they tried to do the peace treaty, and the police was going to tag on walls, and police was keeping the beef going on.
So I talked about that yesterday. You know what I'm saying? The beef. Well, I implied it yesterday. You know, so the beef between the US organization and the Black Panthers, that would ultimately end up bloody, you know, is no different than how the FBI had a hand in the violence escalating and the intensity of the Crips and the Bloods back in the days. You know, even how Crips decided they was gonna go from just protecting the neighborhood to have to protect your spot when you selling dope. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was no dope at first. There was no dope. Right. You know, the FBI put dope and guns and all other kind of drugs in the black community and turned it into a modern day war zone, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but you know, really, that's another veil for slavery, because once they did all of that, they was able to implement all these laws once again. That's what that law words,
right?
They implement all these laws, and then it got the mass incarceration. Now everybody is making money off the prison system. They got making the toilet paper, they make wood furniture, and they make clothes, and some people are getting paid 10, 15 cents a day.
Man, I don't know how many couches I made for them people. I made so many couches.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. The white people is cunning, man, and they doing it with the law.
They doing it with the law, you know. We
have to make a self-determination that we have to know the law too. That's what we should do. That should be our self-determination. That's the only thing that they got against us is, oh, we the police and this is what the law say. So we should be able to counter and say, oh, I know the law too. That ain't what the law says.
Well, while I agree with you, I think there's a lot of people that'll say, man, I need to know the law. It's like a lot of people say, man, I need to lose weight. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean they gonna do it because they know they need to do it. You know.
Right. You're right about that.
So it's like there has to be a radical psychological revolution that goes on in the mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If that radical psychological revolution does not go in the mind first, you're never going to get to the actual doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're never going to get to that. So it's like you have to regain control of your conscious mind, right? That has been lost because, like the brother that was out on the street yesterday shooting his imaginary gun at all of the MBuff cars, you have to regain your conscious non-slave mind. You were still psychologically enslaved. All they did was take the chains off that brother, but he's still locked up in the mind.
And to me, I'm just baffled why people just can't understand that. If you are a victim of trauma, the trauma is not going to just go away in
right.
a couple days.
Right. But so that's the beauty of today. That's the beauty of Kujichagulia, is the fact that Kujichagulia symbolizes our perseverance, to persevere towards something that we've worked hard to overcome, right? And that we've decided that we are going to overcome it because we decided that we no longer want to deal with the day-to-day trauma, the day-to-day problems, right? And what do I mean by a problem? My definition of a problem goes like this. A problem is a problem is distinguished when you are at point A and you can't figure out how to get to point B, right? You know you need to get to point B, but you can't figure out how to get to point B, you know? So it symbolizes the determination that we are going to take control of our own life, of our own future. And that's not just selfishly. That's just not saying me, I'm going to take care of my life and my future. No, that is, I'm going to take care of myself so that my cup is ready to dole out to other people. So I can take care of these kids. So I can take care of the next generation. They are the hope for the future. They are the future bright that Africa has seen. You know, so that's my goal. That's my job, because I know I have personally screwed up a whole generation. Just me by myself. I screwed up a whole generation of thinking that the way that you go about things is to fight or shoot or gangbang. I know I did that, you know, and so just because they let me out the gates don't mean that I have repaid my debt to society. I have not, but I am.
You repaid their debt.
I repaid their debt. I repaid.
You haven't owed the community. You haven't healed the community that you come from. That's what you said.
That's what I'm saying. I have not healed the debt to my community, you know. So I have paid the debt that I could not pay with money at my arraignment. That's all I did. Because again, we go back to talking about the law. You can pay your debt two different ways, right? You can pay your debt with money, or you can pay your debt with time. They don't really care which one.
They don't.
If you got the money to pay it with money, cool. If you don't have the money, you know, if you getting if you don't have money, right, and you getting Khalif Browder, you know what I'm saying? Khalif Browder didn't have the money to pay for something that he didn't do, you know.
Man, that was so sad.
Man, hey, that's bro. Hey, Mano got a song called Khalif Browder, right? Man, that song sends me into a tailspin every time I hear it. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And nobody was really there to help that guy, man. It should have been an outpour in the community like what we talking about today. It should have been, you know, but man, it just and you know, this is another thing about people don't understand about trauma victims that, you know, once you continue to be traumatized, then you really lose the essence of who you are.
Right.
Like you said, you gotta peel back all these layers to get to us because we've been traumatized so much that we didn't build natural defense mechanisms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we the only race in America, we the only race in the world that walk around mean mugging a motherfucker.
Right.
We're so traumatized. We're like, see, this is how I gotta act. This has to be my projection to society of what I am, is to be a mean person. When in actuality, I get traumatized so much that I don't know that that's not my true essence. You know what I mean?
Hey man, check this out. Here's what I'm gonna do. Can you get your email from your phone?
Yeah, I can get an email.
All right. I'm about to get your email address. I'm sick of you being on my phone, man. I'm gonna put you on the screen. I'm sick of you. You ain't got on my damn nerves. Got on my damn nerves, man. So, what's your email address?
Mr. A.L. Scott at 937. I mean, no, Mr. A.L. Scott 937 at gmail.com.
937?
Yep. And I'm finna get off of here anyway, man.
No, you ain't. Nah, damn that. Nah, you got at least 15, 20 more minutes with me, partner.
You know what time the game come on.
Yeah, you got 15. You got like 15 more minutes with me. You know, you ain't about to just come bully my show and bounce. You crazy as hell.
Yeah. Hey, this is what guys right here, man.
So you guys stick with me for at least. Hold up. I'm about to send it here. Hold up. Impatient ass. I'm about to send it right. Oh, dang it.
I'm glad that you got a forum and that you talking, man. That's good. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thank you. You said A.L. Scott at.
Yeah, not M-I-S, it's M-R.
Oh, Mr.
It's M-R. Yeah.
Mr. A.L. Scott. 937. Yeah.
That's good that you on the social platform, man. I'm glad that I can say I know a conscious brother like that be on there spitting that stuff to y'all, man. That be spitting that ism to y'all, man. Y'all better get it, man.
I got to, man. Now what's the difference? What's the difference in what we talking about now? All right, I just sent it. What's the difference in what we talking about now and what me and you've been talking about for years, right?
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing, other than the fact that other people can hear us talking about it. That's it. Me and this dude, we've been talking above and over everybody else's head. Not everybody else's, but you get what I'm saying. We've been talking over a lot of people's heads for years, right? All right, get off my phone. Hold up. Let me make sure you on here first and then get off my phone. Matter of fact, you might have to get off of here in order for your camera to work on the screen.
Oh, okay, let me do it.
So until my homeboy get on here, where was I? So now you know what? It's some questions I'm gonna ask him when he get on here. So all right. So I don't know if I'm pretty sure I did, but in the event that I didn't, today is the second day of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by others. Right. So that kind of works hand in hand. There you go. So that kind of works hand in hand with the first principle of Kwanzaa, which is umoja, because so after you come together and after you work together, then you got to be able to not lose yourself within everybody else's structure. So all right, now that you on here, black ass boy, I'm gonna ask you some questions, right? Can you hear me? You froze. Hey man, we are not playing freeze tag. Unfreeze. Or log off and then log back on if you can hear me. Yeah, you froze on me. All right. So Kujichagulia and Umoja fit together because after you come together as far as the togetherness, then you have to not lose yourself in regards to your own individuality and your own mind. You still have to have your own goals, and while you may not disagree with anybody else, you still have to have your own way of doing it. So for example, myself and the Ndugu Amin, right, we have the same goals in mind of what we want to be and do, right? But we don't think the same. Like, we don't think the same at all. But we have the same goal. Now, here's why it's important for both of us to be in discussion groups, because I don't want everybody to think like me. I need people, like, literally. It's a necessity that I have people who can healthily disagree with me. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, log back off and then log back on. I just can't have you up on the screen just frozen. Hold on. Let me see this. Money time both at once. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that's power. Hey, so another one of my homeboys, right? Matter of fact, he was on the show, you know. So y'all done seen him. He says money, time, both in one so I had to pay both. You know, the debt left over to us by who we followed is a deeper debt. You know what I'm saying? So I had people follow me and I followed people, you know. I paid attention to cats that was in front of me, and I had to. I mean, little did I know, I didn't even know at that time that I was embodying Kujichagulia at that time, because I would look at cats and I would study them, and I'm like, okay, so those is patterns I can't do that. Those is patterns that okay, yeah, I can do that. And so you take these pieces, and you put them together, and you determine for yourself who you're going to be, what type of leader you are going to be. You even determine for yourself what kind of soldier you're going to be, So all of this plays a part. Now, I want to ask my homeboy if he can get back on. I want to ask him, but I want to ask all of you who are listening, hit me up in the chats. As you reflect on this year, on this past year, right? Can you identify ways your self-determination has paid off? Okay, it don't matter if you use the desktop or your phone. You can use the desktop to get on. It's the same thing. It got a camera on it, and you can get your email. It don't matter. But how has your self-determination paid off for you this year? So I'm talking to all of my entrepreneurs. I'm talking to all of my autonomous thinkers. I'm talking to all of my people who are within an organization or within a certain mindset of things, but still can have your individual mind not be affected by the thoughts of somebody else, right? Like this dude next to me, man, he been trying to influence my thoughts for over 2 centuries. I won't let him do it. I just won't let him do it. He been trying though. He used to talk to me through a little hole in the wall, and I don't know who dug that hole, me or you. I remember both of us ended up burrowing through. He looked like two little squirrels. We look like we was in Shawshank Redemption.
I think we'd have lost our minds, man, if we wouldn't have been able to communicate like that.
Man, but I think most of it was like, since we were being dysfunction tactilely, we had to come up with something. We had to come up with something to be able to have, because, man, listen, humans are social beings. You dig what I'm saying? So right. How is it that you think that having somebody in a cage without any kind of human contact is humane at all?
Or going to help their social skills, their social development
upon their release? Because what's the percentage? There's 80 some odd % of people who are locked up who are going to be released back into society. These are the types of people that you want to release back into society. People who can't socially connect because of a mistake that they made while incarcerated. You put them in a jail inside of a jail, and told them you can't have no contact with nobody.
And who was an example of not being able to socially readjust?
You'll have to be more specific. Oh, facts. Why you say that?
He wasn't out but 3 or 4 days and committed such a heinous crime because he was socially disconnected. He was socially inept. He didn't have the skills to deal socially, because
right.
he was incarcerated and them skills wasn't imparted to him,
And he was not able socially or psychologically to determine anything for himself because he was still allowing a master, in a certain sense, determine his actions for him. Right. He hadn't broke those chains of, I mean, in his case, physical and psychological slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He could not see himself in them handcuffs. He could not be a part of this system.
Right.
Now, the question I wanted to ask you is, how did you take more control of your life and implement the principle of Kujichagulia, self-determination, into your life this past year?
This past year?
Yeah, 2020.
Shit. I got well, 2020 started because I had a frivolous case, so I was already starting behind everybody else.
Right.
I got a little house waiting list over here in Denver. You know, I applied for Section 8. I applied for programs and, you know, things of that nature. They're going to pay off for me. You know, I'm on the housing list, so whenever the housing comes available, I'll have that. You know, I got unemployment going on. I got a little the coverage. You know what I mean? You know, in the space that I was previously, you know, and right. I'm not saying, you know, 10, 20 years ago, being in the space that I was 2 or 3 weeks ago, you know what I mean? Not being in the space that I was 2 or 3 months ago. So, you know, necessity is the mother of once. So caught up in this loophole, and I jumped out of the loophole. But now I can wallow around in my pity like, they just gave me the case and woo. Now I got to figure out how to pick myself back up and reestablish myself and get to what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's just myself. That's just what I'm determined to do. You know what I mean? I think determination is within you. You know what I mean? Like it's like trying. It's like trying to help a drug be ineffective. That determine knowledge to say, hey, whether you know it or not.
Hey, where in your place can you go where you got a better connection?
Huh?
Where you at right now? It's not really a good connection. Go outside.
I went outside.
It's probably freezing up there.
It's a beautiful day. Out, I'm walking around in my tank top. You know, this is.
Hey man, so we gonna stay kind of somewhat on the topic of Kujichagulia, but it's gonna be less traditional. But how do you feel that your Broncos is gonna determine how they gonna lose today? Like how in what method are they gonna figure out how to lose?
I don't think they're gonna lose today, man. You know, they determined, man. Even though they done met a lot of obstacles, you know, we got injuries. 1 week we didn't even have a quarterback, you know. But you know, hey, you know, we determined to get the win.
Hey, what? Didn't they go get the water boy to quarterback that game? I didn't look at the utility. Didn't the utility dude quarterback that game? I think y'all had a little bit of everybody quarterback.
Oh my God, how is he gonna win without a quarterback? What the hell?
Hey man,
I
now for real,
the game, man.
Like for real. Wasn't one of y'all like third string wide receivers the quarterback that game?
Yeah, he was.
Hey, his backup was the water boy.
Hey, all because they made the choice to go in there in that room and everybody had the COVID. That's a conscious choice that they made. And then that was the consequence. You got embarrassed on national TV.
Exactly.
Because you made a bad choice, a bad decision. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that is part of autonomy. That is part of determining things for yourself, is at every moment making good decisions, because it only takes one moment to make a bad decision that could cost you dearly.
30 seconds cost you 30 years.
Facts. All right, man. It's 12 o'clock, man. I'm gonna let you go. You done hijacked.
I get what you later on.
All right, man. Love.
Keep doing what you doing, man. They need to hear it, goddamn it.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Peace. All right. So, man, I appreciate my homeboy, man, for coming on the show with me today. You dig? Yeah, that's what's up. So, like I said, I guess if I haven't slated you in for one of the episodes of Notoriously Opinionated, apparently all you gotta do is be up and paying attention when I'm doing AIM Opinionated and bulldog your way onto my show. I guess that's how you do it. So he done set the blueprint. But like I said, today is the second day of Kwanzaa. We talked about a little bit about the history of Maulana Karenga and his US organization, and how because of white supremacy, because if you don't understand white supremacy and racism, what it is and how it functions, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. And so if you think that the FBI is just here to solve crimes of people who are actually guilty and not helping to create crimes, and hold up, where is it? Since I'm on that, I'm going to read to you what the FBI said, and then I'm gonna close this episode. Right. All right. A memorandum of the LA field office dated May 26, 1970 stated, "It is intended that US Inc. will be discreetly and appropriately advised of the time and locations of Black Panther Party activities, in hopes that the two organizations will be brought together and thus grant nature the opportunity to take her due course." I didn't say that. That is a direct quote from the LA field office of the FBI, May 26th, 1970. You can't make this shit up. It's reality. And they will pit organizations that didn't really have that deep of a beef against each other to destroy them both. And that's exactly what they did. But if we can stay united, Kujichagulia, right? And then determine if we can stay united, Umoja, and then determine for ourselves, Kujichagulia, that we are not going to let any outside infiltrators come in and influence and manipulate how we feel about our brothers and our sisters, we're gonna be all right. Like Kendrick Lamar said, we gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, support small and Black businesses. Corona is killing far more than people around this world. It is killing businesses. It is an economic killer as much as it is a human killer, right? So support small and Black businesses. Tune in to Twitch today for day 2 of the Kwanzaa celebration, hosted by the Black United Front of Kansas City. But I think today's principle is being done by the Houston chapter of NBuff. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what goes on in Kwanzaa today. And as always, seize the moment. You might not make it through the day. Remember to check me out every Wednesday night, Notoriously Opinionated, 8:30, where I will have new guests talking about new things. But under the same auspice of enlightenment and consciousness. Check me out on Spotify, Areas of Human Activity. That's the audio podcast. I'm probably gonna put my homeboy on that one too. He does well audioly. So I think I'm gonna have my homeboy be a guest of mine on my audio podcast, which will be recorded today, and released tomorrow. So, and check me out every morning, Monday through Friday on AM Opinionated, 8 a.m. I'm on for the next 5 days because it's Kwanzaa. It's Kwanzaa time. So until tomorrow, 11 a.m. Peace. Hold up. Wait. No. Tomorrow's not at 11 a.m. Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow will be at the regularly scheduled time of 8 a.m. for Ujima. So that's the third principle. So until then, peace. I'm out.